So I almost missed the train to come see my best friend of 20 years. And oh my God. Okay, so one of the things that I've been realizing, and I think people probably realize this like 10, 15 years before me, people my age, is that, I can't do things like I used to, and I'm having a really hard time accepting that. Like, as somebody who, slept on people's couches all over like South America and was working on a strawberry farm, lived in a tent there, couch surfed all over through couchsurfing.com, literally sleeping on strangers' couches. Like, I have been sleeping in a truck or a tent or someone's couch. Like, I've been like this, easy. I don't even know that, because I'm starting to think that even that entire time my nervous system was all messed up, but I just wasn't aware of it. So it was because I was so disassociated from my body and how I feel and like all that crap. I think I had like armor this thick around my whole body. Anyway, but I'm used to like being thrown in situations that are very overwhelming and just adapting. And actually, look, a train! We're waiting for a train. I will never get over how fun trains are. Like, train! That's like the American in me. Anyway, the point is that I literally used to throw myself into uncomfortable situations every day, just to see how I would do. And I would adapt and I'd adjust and I would deal well with the stress and the pressure, and I just learn how to let go and go with the flow. Oh my God, there's so many people. Okay, I gotta stop for a second. I'm in Amsterdam, by the way. Very cool city. I was just like, I prided myself on being able to just adapt and go with the flow and be like easygoing or whatever. Even though now that I think back, I was pretty stressed all those times, but it kind of forced me to accept that I can't control things. And I do think that's one good thing about travel, is like so many things are out of your hands, that I was just in a perpetual state of like, oh well, I can't control it. I just have to trust that I'll figure out where I sleep tonight. You know what I mean? And now, by the way, my poor mother, I cannot imagine what it's like. Well, she didn't even know how in dangerous situations I'm in. Anyway, I am not that person anymore, apparently. I am not an easy traveler. And I think because of all my experiences traveling and how I have so many years of hitchhiking. Like, I hitchhiked all over too, y'all. I'm a traveler, but I'm not a fancy traveler. Like, I never pay for nice hotels. I never pay for nice things. And I now realize that's a trauma response to not think I deserve safety or peace when I literally sleep. Anyway, a lot of that has changed. And a lot of that is just growing up. And a lot of that is having chronic back pain and all kinds of things that force me to adapt to my body changing and my circumstances changing and my mental health changing, or at least perspecting it more. I am not this easygoing traveler. I'm a nervous mess. In fact, I haven't traveled much in the last couple of years because once I started having this major PTSD or CPSD, whatever it is, I don't know, and I had to do EMDR, but EMDR actually made it worse for a while until it made it better. But my nervous system gets completely out of whack really easily. And I had I guess it's a panic attack, I don't know, but when I did a comedy show in Luxembourg this summer, the man next to me on the train was eating a croissant. This is such a French story. And the paper bag was so loud and I couldn't get away, and it was a really crowded train, and I just was bawling, and I was like a nervous mess. And then another time taking the bus from my husband's parents' village, a 40-minute ride down into Lyon, a woman got on and she had really strong, this happens all the time though, really strong perfume. And I got kind of car sick too. And between those two things, being car sick and her perfume, I was literally bawling. But of course, I don't want anyone to know I'm bawling. So I'm quietly crying, so I don't want to disturb anybody. God forbid I actually get up and move to another seat, because that's my freeze response. And I also don't want her to feel bad for smelling so strongly with this Anyway, God, this is so complex, y'all. Anyway, the point is that I am really sensitive person. My nervous system to smells, to people's energy, to noises. At least now I've got headphones and I'm know how to tune that stuff out. Get car sick all the time. That started at the age of 40. I don't know if this is a perimenopause thing. I don't know if it's a hormonal thing, but it's so annoying because getting car sick. I lived in a car for 5 years. Of course, I was always driving, so I never got car sick. But the idea that I can't even go by car to places is very frustrating. So anyway, I adapt to all these changes, but what the hardest part is like accepting that I'm just not who I used to be, and that's actually kind of good. I don't want to be so easily adapting to dangerous situations. I don't want to be just cool girl, go with the flow, whether it's with men or just with life. You know, like I want to be high maintenance. Like I don't want to be, but like I need to be. And like just yesterday, like, you know, someone was like let's go bike rides, and I almost did it just because I want to be easygoing and go with the flow. And then I was like, wait, I have Renaults. My hands will freeze. I'm going to be miserable. I want to spend time with Liz. I don't want to go on a freaking bike ride. And I was like, felt like I should go. And then finally I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't want to go because I want to hang out with Liz. I don't want to hang out with anyone else but Liz. And that was like such a big thing for me, because in the past, if someone's like, hey, let's go do this, I'd just be like, yeah, okay. That sounds fun. You like exercise, Melanie. You like adventure. You like da-da-da-da-da. But you know what I like more is hanging out with my friend, my best friend of 20 years who lives on the other side of the ocean that I get to see once a year, and I'm only getting to see 2.5 days. So anyway, I'm sorry, I am getting somewhere with it. So on our way here, you know, we already had a very limited amount of time because, yeah, I can only take so many days off. She's only here for a short period of time. They're visiting their daughter who's in school here. So they have to make time for her. So on Saturday, I thought we had a very easy train. It was like we take a train to Paris, and then we have a 3-hour layover, and then we take a train to Amsterdam. And I think because I've traveled so much, I'm a little cocky when it comes to traveling. So I'm like, whatever, I'll figure it out. Or like, I've got this covered, right? Like I'm not like anxious, and I should be, apparently, because we sat in a cafe on the other side, like across from the train station, because the train stations are so loud and there's so many people, and it's just too much for my nervous system. Sit in this cafe, and my anxiety, the closer it got to the time the train was supposed to leave, the more my anxiety was like building. And I was like, what is going on? Like, the train station's right there. And I was just like, I don't know. We gotta leave. So we went back to the train station, and oops, the train is not listed on this. It doesn't exist. And so we look at the tickets, and I'm like, oh my God. Because you know, in our couple, we divide labor, right? And I'm really good at traveling and booking, or I thought I was. Like, not anymore. Can't trust Melanie with this, apparently, because I'm a little too cocky. But I booked the train tickets. Because I know how to find really good deals, but also make like good timing. Anyway, sometimes I spend way too much money trying to find a good deal. Anyway, whatever. So I had not even bothered to look at the ticket. I just assumed they're from the same freaking train station. Usually when you buy tickets on a third app like Trainline or Kayak or whatever, if it's from a different airport or different train station, they just put a little like, hey, you do realize this is a 24-hour like layover, or you do realize this is different, you know, like they kind of tell you. Nothing like that. So I just assumed in one train station, out the same train. No. So like with 30 minutes to spare, we found out that the train to Amsterdam was leaving out of the airport train station in the north of Paris. And I went into full like, fuck, how are we gonna get there? Like, and I was like stopping out, like I figured out really quickly on the app, it's too like a taxi's gonna take too long because of traffic. We got to take the green line. Okay, where's the green line? I mean, we went into like, oh my god, and we actually worked really well as a team, because I was, you know, I'm really good at this, because again, when you have like years of experience at something, I just know what to look for. But I made a couple mistakes, and Anthony caught them, and like anyway, it was like right out of a movie. We literally sprinted. I have never sprinted. And then we were on the train or the subway out to the airport, and we had like 8 minutes to spare. And I started to have a panic attack, because I'm like, I gotta see my friend. Like, I was like, if I can't see Liz, I'm gonna die. Which is silly, and it's like it's like such a, not a real problem. You know what I mean? In the context of the world and everything going on, it's not a big deal. But in my mind, I'm like, if I don't see this person that I love like a sister, if I don't make this train, we only have 2 days together. And I was so angry at myself. And Anthony was just like, It's okay, babe. Let's just act like we're gonna make it. And I'm like, that's not how my brain works. My brain works. Ugh, really? Come on. This taxi credit, whatever. My brain immediately goes into problem solving mode. So I was like, okay, let's just assume we're gonna miss a train. Where are we gonna stay tonight? We'll try to find a train out tomorrow at what time? Because it's probably too late to catch one tonight. Where are we gonna stay? Okay, we're near the airport. Like I literally went into like, right? And I think that's a good survival mechanism. That's literally what's gotten through my life, is when I'm in a situation where I'm in overwhelm and like panicking, what gets me through that is to start figuring out the next steps instead of being like paralyzed by that and whatever. And I think that's a great skill. The problem is that I don't actually like let myself feel anything when I'm in that moment. So anyway, we're on the train. We get out. I have never sprinted so hard. I literally, we made it with 1 minute to spare. As soon as we got on, I was like, ah, and I was like, I had to like sit in like where, the doors are, and like, I almost vomited all over from like, I'm not just running, I'm running with this stupid thing and this backpack, Hi. And Anthony and I ran into so many people. It was like, it literally was like a movie scene where I'm like, I gotta get to my, one of the loves of my life, anyway, and then we made it on the train, and I calmed myself down physically, had the train ride, and then we got into Amsterdam. And again, like just being on trains and being in public spaces and being around people, the noises, the smells, the perfume, the person next to us had was playing a movie but without headphones, but it was like right? Like, I mean, just trying to like stay in my little bubble is like a lot harder than it used to be. So we get to Amsterdam, can't figure out where the Ubers pick up. Taxis are like 3 times as much. Just need to get to the hotel. My hands start freezing because I have Renault, so I can't use my hands anymore. I've been to this city, so I kind of know it, where Anthony hasn't. So I was, kind of in guide mode. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm living my own personal nightmare. The smell of like weed everywhere, too many people. I'm like really dysregulated. And then the bye train. Then the church bell near where we finally found that we had to stay and wait for an Uber that took 20 minutes. The church bell went off for 20 minutes. And then the cleaning truck comes by, the street cleaner, and it's like, and I was like, oh my God. So I just sat there with my headphones on. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm worthless right now, babe. I'm tapping out. You're the leader. And I finally just kind of calmed down, and then I just bawled. I literally I cried so hard because I just want to see my friend. Anyway, when I finally calmed down and I had my hands finally in some good gloves and I'm waiting for the Uber, oh my God, sorry. I forgot how hard it is to record anything in a city because of noise. I just cried and cried and cried. Because here's the thing, when I'm realizing that I'm so used to like dealing with stress where I just think my way through it, focus on the next step, get into action, and just ignore my feelings, which is really good, right? But like then I usually never revisit those feelings, never feel those feelings. And that hasn't worked out so well for me because they don't go anywhere. So instead, I was like, okay, I guess I'm crying now. And I cried, like I bawled. And I think what it was about is like, yeah, this person means so much to me. And the idea that because our other friend was going to meet us here and they couldn't come because there was no more trains. So I'm like, if we didn't catch this train, we may not have seen her, We'd be stuck in Paris. It was really expensive, like where are we going to stay? And the idea of not seeing this person who means so much to me after like preparing to see her for months, even if it's for 2.5 days. I don't know, sometimes, like, first of all, it was good for me to cry. But also, like, I sometimes don't realize how much I care about someone until the idea of not seeing them hits me hard. And then I'm like, because this cold, dead heart of mine didn't think I really, don't need anybody. I'm better, whatever. But Liz was the first person I really let into my heart and let into my life and let in, like, that I lived with and worked. Like, she was like my first, like, partner for life. And I guess I just take for granted how important she is. And so the idea of like not being able to just physically hug her, because I don't get to see her but once every couple years, it really upset me. So I just cried it out, and then it was good, right? I was fine. And then as soon as we get to the hotel, she had warned me that she was starting to like not feel well. And as soon as we get to the hotel, it's finally like 6 or 7 o'clock. She's like, I'm so sorry, Melanie, but like, I'm sick. Had a fever. So then I'm like, no. So basically for like that night and the whole like half of the next day, we're just like calling each other from our hotels, which is like 4 kilometers away, even though we live like, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000 miles away. We're 4 kilometers away. I'm like, you're so close but so far away. And we're just crying on the phone like, we just want to see you so bad. And I was like, I'll just go to your hotel and like just sit in the lobby and just take care of you all day. Like if you need it, I'll come up. I just need to be near you. I need to be near you. You don't need to talk to me because I want you to rest. I know what you need. I know you don't need to hang out with someone right now when you have a fever and you feel awful. But I literally just need to see you, you know? And so finally we went over at like 3 o'clock the next day. So we were only going to have 2.5 days together, and then we missed a night and a half of a day. So we've had very limited time together. But it was enough. It's enough. Like, our relationship is entirely over the phone. And that's like another point I want to make, is a lot of people assume that your bestie has to live in the same town as you. And her and I spent a lot of time together those first few years that we were together. We like lived in the same, we worked for the same company. We lived in a house in Taos where I slept in the driveway in like this, that camouflage trailer that I've shown y'all pictures of. And she slept in a tent in the backyard, and our friend Jack lived in the house. But neither of us could afford rent to live in the house, so he like let us pay like $50 a month to live. When I say house, I mean it was a double wide. Like, her and I have lived in we lived in our trucks together when we were doing outdoor education and going back and forth between California and New Mexico. Like, our first few years together were very intense and amazing, and we were like, literally people considered us like a couple. Like, we even had nicknames. She's Le and I'm Meh, so it'd be like Le, Meh, and like everyone who worked with us was like, let him forever. Like, everyone talked about us like we were a couple. They'd be like, how's Liz doing? And her parents would ask about me all the time. You know, like, we were like a straight up soulmate, platonic soulmate couple. When pandemic first hit, we called each other on the phone. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if you die. Please take care. You know, like, she was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if you die. Like, it was like, we have these moments in our relationship where we're like, you're everything to me. We're both married. We're both fully in love and committed to, like, our husbands are our soulmates too. But she was my first soulmate. And she always will be. And she means so much to me. And sometimes, I don't know, I try to see, like, I'm not like a toxic positivity person, but I do believe that every situation has a learning lesson or like something. Because otherwise things just suck, right? So I'm like, okay, is there a lesson out of this? The lesson is, I love the crap out of this woman. I know I did. I could say it, but I had to feel it in that moment. 2 days in a row. Once at the train station, at the train station, almost missing the train, and then the next day when she said she had a fever, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to see her. I'm literally going to be 4 kilometers away, or like, you know, in the lobby of her hotel, but I'm not going to get to hang out with this person that I would die for. I don't know. I guess it's really humbling to realize that. And it's also really made me grateful that I have that kind of love with 2 people, right? I have that kind of love with my sister and everything, but, you know, it's different with siblings and whatever. Liz was the first person, my first partner, that there was not any kind of age. There was an age difference, but barely. But there wasn't like a big sister, little sister. Like, we go back and forth. We'll be like, can you be big sister today? Because I need some help. And she's like, yeah. And then we go back and forth. It's equal. It's like, that's why I love Grace and Frankie. Like, those 2 women found a kind of love, that TV show, for each other. I love that show because I get it. I have that kind of love for someone. I feel so lucky I have that. I had something very similar with a lot of other people. You know, my friend who came down from Alaska who saved me from that relationship. I've had, like, I always have like a little surrogate kind of Liz relationship and I love those women so much too. But I think just because Liz and I have been together for 20 years, it's different. Anyway, I'm telling you this story because relationship is just as gratifying as any romantic one ever could be. In fact, I'd argue that was more gratifying. It was definitely more gratifying than any romantic relationship I'd had with a man. And it wasn't until I met Anthony where I realized I could actually have that kind of love with a man too. Because men have never, ever made me feel like an equal partner until Anthony. But I know that this is, before Anthony came in the picture, I have been trying to talk about this subject because it's so important to me. Liz got married many years ago, I don't know, like 12, 13 years ago. And I was so upset because I thought I was going to lose her. Because that happens a lot. Once a woman gets married, that she has never, even though, you know, she's married and that's her partner, he knows that I'm always going to be super important. Anthony knows that I'm always going to be super important. And she didn't abandon me once she got married. We lived our own lives and did our own things, but like, this kind of love, I hope everyone gets to experience at some point in time. And it doesn't need to be romantic. Sometimes a romantic just literally ruins that kind of thing. I do believe in platonic love being honestly one of the most rewarding experiences in my life, right? I think, and just given what patriarchy is like and how much power dynamics and how few men will see us as an equal or even a human, I wish that anyone who follows my page will have an opportunity at some point to be seen and loved and love and see another human being the way I've been able to with Liz. And I am so grateful. 20 years. This May, it'll be 20 years. This woman knows me better than anyone on the planet. Anyone. And it also set a really high standard for dating. So that when Anthony entered my life in my 40s, I was like, holy crap, this is like being with Liz, but with like a physical attraction. That's the only difference. There's a physical attraction. Everything else feels that safe, that all of those things I was talking about. But I just assumed that I would never get this. And I was fine with that. I made peace with that because I was not willing to ever be, at a certain point I realized I don't ever want to be with anyone if they don't make me feel like this. And my friendships that are, my friendship with Liz and my friendships that are like similar to Liz, they just don't have as much longevity because I didn't live in that town long or whatever. They're my foundation. They are my lifeline. They are my everything. So I hope the people who follow me experience that at some point. Because romantic love should be that. Like, I don't even know what I don't even know what, all I know is that I can't imagine marrying someone that I didn't have that with. Like, the physical part is like not nearly as important as feeling that. And if you don't feel that, and if it's a man, cishet man under patriarchy, he's gonna exploit the crap out of you. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. My train's coming. I hope this made sense. That's a long ramble, blah. But we're on our way home now. Let's hope I read the tickets right.